I'm Beck.
You and everybody else.
Rebecca, Becky, Mama. And this is a little bit about us and what we are doing on our journey.
Come here. You can't see you. That's Gus.
About 2 years ago, in July of 2019, we decided to go ahead and make the date to travel as a full-time family. It's been a dream of ours for many years, probably at least 5 years, to do this, and for a long time it was just kind of a pipe dream until 2 years ago when we decided to make the dream a reality and set a date and start working towards the goal. So
that doesn't mean we're going to make the date.
No, we're not going to make the original launch date, but
we still have the goal, and it's still going to happen. So
it's definitely not an easy thing to do. We're finding that out more and more every week. There's definitely obstacles. Everything that we've gone to do has kind of been a challenge. Well, I wouldn't say everything, but a lot of things tend to take a little bit longer than what you think that they would take. So we have decided to travel in a school bus, and
it's not a school bus anymore.
Well, it's not a school bus anymore. It's a school bus that's being converted into a recreational vehicle called a Skoolie.
Yeah, otherwise known as a Skoolie.
And there are many reasons why we chose a Skoolie over a traditional RV. We've camp hosted for several years in an RV. We've had several different types of campers, from pop-up to...
Well, we started with a camping in my dad's old 82 Coleman Rebel pop-up. Then we got our own truck camper. It was a 1973, and it just so happened that I had a 1973 Chevrolet truck at the time, and all my buddies called it the Combo. We added to the family, so we needed more campers, so I ended up buying a 82 or 83? 82 or 83 Terry travel trailer. We bought a fifth wheel, and in order to justify, it was a bunkhouse. Was that thing in 97? Salem fifth wheel with a bunkhouse fifth wheel. In order to justify that, I was working about 75 miles from home, and the campground was only about 20 miles from there. So we signed up to be camp host.
And that's where our camp host journey started. This is your first story with Uncle Red, by the way.
And
tells great stories.
And we it just made sense to host, because they give you a free campsite, and you get to enjoy everything the park has to offer. And for me, it worked out great. I was working 4/10s, so I could be there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the busiest time in the park. And so it was closer than coming home. So we hosted, and we ended up thoroughly enjoying ourselves, and met a lot of cool people. And so we hosted for
6 summers.
But 2 summers in that camper, right?
Mm-hmm. And then we adopted 2 more children. We have a total of 6 children. So we needed a bigger camper.
So we ended up with a cyclone toy hauler, 41 foot toy hauler.
We really love the toy hauler.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great things about that. You know, it's self-contained, so we could definitely take that on the road and full-time in that.
So for probably 20 years, I always wanted to build a Skoolie, because they're tough, and they're built to haul kids around, and stuff that's built to haul kids around is a precious commodity that they're hauling around. So they build them tough, and they build them to last, because
Kids destroy everything.
Kids destroy everything, and school bus drivers are hell on the equipment. And so I always wanted to build one, and a old friend of mine is he was a highly respected gearhead. He was giving me a hard time about when I was talking to him about it one time about building a Skoolie, and he gave me a hard time about it, and I kind of dismissed it for many years because if he didn't like the idea of it, it probably wasn't a good idea. I forgot about it for many years, and then we were hosting, and we really got to thinking about what it would actually take to be able to just take off in an RV of some sort and just travel. And with our experiences living in the campgrounds for up to 4 months every summer or into the fall, I feel like we know our way around a RV pretty well. And I knew that most RVs are not made for full-time living. You have to stay on a camper all the time, and I just feel like a school bus is a commercial vehicle that's built to withstand punishment every day.
Plus, another benefit is that Aaron is a diesel mechanic. And he used to work for America's School Bus Company. Virginia School Bus Company. So he knows his way around a school bus and knows a lot of ins and outs. So that was a plus.
Well, I knew when we first started talking about this that I wanted a Thomas bus because that's who I worked for, was Thomas Bus. So anyway, I knew him pretty well, and I've been factory trained. And once we really got to talking about what it would take to actually do this, and you start really looking at numbers and all, and for us, I realized that one of the main reasons I work almost every day is to pay for the stuff that we have. And if you're willing to sacrifice all the stuff, all the material goods in your life, then it makes traveling, or it makes something like this. It doesn't cost much if you don't have much. It doesn't cost much to live. You buy some groceries and buy some fuel to get where you're going, and
even with a larger family, of course, our older two are adulting now, so they won't be traveling with us. We'll be traveling with 4. But it's definitely something that you can make work, but you just have to make sacrifices, and it's just something that we've decided as a family we want to go and explore and see God's beautiful creation with our kids. We don't want to wait until they're gone. Number one, we're not guaranteed that. We lost a dear friend last year, and we were at a place where we'd made the decision to do this, but we were kind of like, are we crazy? Is this the right thing? He was actually thinking about interviewing for a new job, and we were just thinking, maybe this isn't right. Maybe we shouldn't do this. It was kind of a dream job that he'd been waiting to open.
I've been working for myself for 6 years now. In July it'll be 7 years. And if you've ever worked for yourself and then gone back to work for somebody, it's a huge adjustment.
Yeah.
And working for myself allowed me the freedom to help her at the campgrounds when we were hosting and all that. So if I took another job, working a regular job, a 40-hour, 50-hour week job, then it would eliminate a lot of that too. I wouldn't have been able to help her as much at the campground, and we probably wouldn't be hosting again.
Yeah. And so during that time, we were really trying to make a decision on what we should do. Should we, proceed with this dream and this goal of trying to go full time, and him taking a break with work, and just, would you say, escaping is what he has on his calendar, on his phone. Just escaping for a little while, and then we lost one of our real good friends, and it was very unexpected. And that day I just looked at him and said, we're going to make this happen, because you're not guaranteed tomorrow. You're not guaranteed retirement to travel. And like I said, it's something we want to do with our kids. We don't want to do it when they're grown and gone. We want to see it with them.
Especially my older two, and they're, like I said, they're not going with us anyway, because our oldest daughter is married and has a baby on the way, and my oldest son is, he's a welder and a fabricator. So it's just the younger four. The younger four being
ages
8,
5 to
5,
13.
8, 9, and 13, or 10, and will be 10 and 13.
So obviously our bus will be equipped with 4 bunks, and then a bed for us, which kind of crams it. And that was a major decision. Took us forever to decide on a floor plan,
because our toy hauler fifth wheel worked perfect, and it's a pretty simple floor plan, but I was going to get pretty elaborate with it at one point and put loft and all this stuff in and do a 13-inch roof raise, or a 3-foot roof raise, a 36-inch roof raise, but that would put me at the very top of the legal limit. It would put me at 13.5, and I didn't want to be at 13.5 because of some parks and stuff. We've been in some parks with our toy hauler that was 12.5, and really had to be careful with overhanging trees and different stuff like that. So I knew if I had a bus at 13.5 that I'd run into trouble.
And we do understand in our research and planning our trips already that, the length of the bus is going to be a little bit tricky getting into places, but we're not planning to stay in the national parks and stuff like that. We're planning to visit plenty of them, but we're also planning to take another vehicle so that once we get where we're staying, we can take that vehicle to explore. We're
gonna do the whole chase vehicle thing, where I'm gonna drive the bus, or she's gonna drive the bus. She can drive it, but she doesn't like to. That way, if we get somewhere we want to boondock and we're not sure if the bus can get in there or find a spot or whatever, we can all jump in the chase vehicle and drive in and see, make sure everything's ready to go and checked out, and then we can bring the bus in. And I'm gonna try to build it. I've already started building all the systems necessary for extended boondocking, because that
was another positive for building the bus, is because you can build it exactly how you want it, and you can set it up for exactly what your family's going to need. And we knew that we wanted to do a lot of boondocking, and so
we grew up boondocking. I grew up boondocking, and you didn't camp at all when you were a kid, but she didn't camp at all until she married me.
And I love camping.
But I grew up boondocking at different places. Well, we didn't even boondock. We called it camping. We went in tents most of the time. I still think the best, my style of camping is boondocking. If I can get away from everybody, I don't like the touristy stuff. That stuff is cool to see, but I want to see it, and then I want to move on pretty quick, and I want to go see the stuff that that the locals know about, and that not everybody gets to see. And to me that's the cool part about traveling around. And that's
being
why
in the campground, people are so,
a campfire
you're just relaxed when you're camping. You get to know people really well, because everybody's just there to relax and chill out, and they're so open, and they just love sharing, and it's a great sense of community when you're camping with other people. We've met some of our best friends.
Yeah,
in the
lifelong friends.
Yeah, and I know that we will meet more friends when we start traveling. So we're definitely looking forward to it. It's been a slow process. We are, I'd say, maybe halfway there on the bus.
We've come a long ways. It's been when I think about what all I have left to do on the bus, I think we've got a lot of stuff to do, and we do. But we've done all the demolition. I've got all the DOT lights and everything in order. Finished that this weekend. All the factory bus windows are out, and we've installed RV windows. We got all that in. We've got the paint job done. I've got a good start on the plumbing. I've got some of the electrical in place. We've got a really, really good start, and we're well on our way.
Yeah. So when we set that date back almost 2 years ago, we were at the campground. It was our last hosting job because we didn't host this past summer because of COVID and everything else, and preparing for this full-time journey. We came home and went to church that very next Sunday, which when we're at the campground, we don't go to church, and we really miss being in church. But we went to church that very next Sunday, and our pastor was teaching on the scripture that talks about how you should let your land rest. And we had just decided, we're going to take this plunge. We're going to jump off. We're going to set a date. We're going to walk by faith. This is crazy, and this is beyond anything that we've ever dreamed to do. And we just said, you know what, it's never going to happen if we don't set it as a goal and start working towards it. So we set the date, and we were like, okay, we're going to walk by faith. And we go to church that next Sunday, and our pastor's teaching on the scripture, which is Exodus. Yeah, and Exodus.
It talks about it in Exodus and Leviticus. And every seventh year of the land is to have a year of Sabbath rest, a Sabbath to the Lord. Do not sow your fields or prune your vineyards.
And so then we started talking about this on the way home from church, and Aaron said to me, do you know what year this 2021 will be? That was our launch date for me and my business. And when I thought about it, I thought, you've been in business for 7 years. He's been working for himself for 7 years. So 2021 will be the year of rest.
Our seventh year. It should be our year of rest.
Right. And so that kind of was just, we felt like God was saying, this is the right time. And then everything else after that has pretty much lined up. When we went to purchase our bus, it was kind of out of our price range. We waited a little bit, went back and looked again, talked about it. We ended up getting it for a lot cheaper, or a little cheaper than what they were asking.
The first it was two different buses.
Right.
The first bus we looked at was a little more than I wanted to spend, and it wasn't exactly what I wanted. And then we waited about a month and to see what else would come in trades. And they got a trade from a local school, a private school, and it was I think it was their activity bus. He called me and said, I think I have your bus. And I asked him some details, and it was it is a 2001 Thomas HD, and it had been from the county school to one private school where we went to high school, and then it went to another private school, and then it had been traded in again, and it had the factory high roof, and then it had two underbody storage bays that are full width of the bus and about 10 feet long, front to back. That being said, it was he made me a pretty good deal on it, and
the bus number was 61, and Isaiah 61 is one of my favorite scriptures. So it's better known as, our bus is called the Romestead, but it's also known as the Isaiah 61 bus, which will be on the back of the bus, lit up for people to see as they're traveling down the road, along with a huge Viking that's winking at you. So
yes, the winking Viking. It was the last school that had it was Holy Cross Catholic School, and their mascot was the Gales, and I guess the Gale is a Viking, but I'm not sure. I might ought to study up on that. That's our bus. It doesn't look like a school bus anymore, of course, and
so you can stay tuned for.
Yeah, we'll be adding videos of the build and
starting from the beginning. on up to, you know, where we've made progress now. Hopefully we'll sprinkle in some of the moving that's getting ready to happen, because our house we just accepted an offer on our house today. So we got a lot that's getting ready to go on. We're doing this thing.
It's fixing to get crazy. Smash that like button and subscribe so you can get notifications, and or notification button, or however all that works. Y'all know how it works. So enjoy, and if you have questions or comments,